now is not to live in Zambia. Mr. Godwin, even you is there. If I can give you options of 3 countries where you want to live, Zambia cannot be on the list because you know that you have been neglected by the government. You know that you have been neglected for so long because you have not been given the power to run the country.
So now let's talk about some sectors. For example, let's begin by looking at, the Minister of Agriculture, for example, or to start with, the Minister of Agriculture. And of course, I'm talking about in situations like this where the country is kindly experiencing some dry spells. If you were a citizen first, and you are looking at, how the maize fields are being affected, what was going to be your plan B?
Now, when you look at a country like Zambia has strategic institutions or companies which have been put there specifically for such events. The government hasn't paid attention to any ministry or any sector. None. When you look at what happened, the president stood and said, we have found a market for you to sell your soya beans. The president said that we are going to sell your soya beans to China, we are going to sell your soya beans to Congo. What happened after people went into soya famine? Because once a president makes such a pronouncement, Mr. Godwin, if your duty or if you had plans of saying, I want to go and cultivate maize, automatically you are going to change your shift. Change attention yanu and say, since the president wakambati batsakirira market kwetza gulisa soya, siani nilime soya, since it's a guarantee that there is a market. So a lot of people went into soya farming. After balima soya yao ija, nifichanve vinachitika, the government again came and said, stizagula soya. Today, bantu bebali muserenje muja, na manje wakali na soya, ikalibo gulisiwa. All the people who were told to go and farm soya, they haven't sold it anywhere because the government has once again given them a false promise.
Obviously, FRA opened the market for soya beans farmers, but I want us to look at the current situation.
Listen, I'm coming to the current situation because we can't just look at the current situation minus looking at the loopholes which are there in the sector. Those are the loopholes which are there in the sector. It was not about FRA opening the market. It was about government saying, we are going to sell on your behalf. It's the government who said that. We will sell on your behalf. Okay? Now, you tell me, if they open the market, are you telling me that the people who are living in Serenge can be able to go and sell their soya in Congo on their own? The government said we will sell on your behalf. Apart from that, the government sold maize. They said there are a lot of maize which have been in stock at FRA. They sold that maize. FRA is there as a reserve for food, maize specifically. Maize is stored in FRA for about 2 years, 3 years. So they tend to plan to say, if there are no rains in Zambia, we can still survive for about 2 to 3 years with the kind of maize we have in stock. That's how it works. That's how FRA has been operating. When this government came in, they sold maize. Almost the whole maize which was cultivated in 2021, 2020, and 2019. They sold that maize. And they didn't even process when selling. They just sold it like that. It could have been better if they sold mealie meal. Then it could have even raised a lot of money. But after selling, FRA has less maize in stock. Which simply means any drought like the one we are having today, we are in limbo. The prices will be expected to be higher than they are today. So this government has run out of stock. When you look at different sectors again, like the way we are looking at the agriculture sector, you have got now this mealie which they are giving you. Shoprite in Zambia, there are only 36 outlets, the whole country. There are only 36. The ZNS mealie we are talking about, ZNS in Navigao V6. sizeddenesi jaina vigayo viri 6 chinango chinaonongeka because vigayo visebenza maningi. The government has failed to replace chigayo. Can they replace things to do with the mining sector like the hydrocarbon cracker?
We'll talk about
Now,
the
when-
mining sector.
yeah,
I
I'm
want us to
coming to
look
you.
at
Now,
the current situation. The
In
current
the current
situation is that
situation,
there is no rain in the country.
There is no rain in the country.
And the maize fields are being affected. If you were in power, what was going
If
to
we
be
were in power,
your immediate solution?
if we were in power, we couldn't have sowed the maize like the way they did. We couldn't have sowed maize like the way they did. Now, they sowed maize because they didn't know. The problem which they had is all the people were working at FRA. They fired them.
Let me ask you maybe this way. What is your agricultural policy?
Our agricultural policy is to diversify in the agricultural sector. I've already answered your question. The question you asked, what could have we done? The first thing we could have done, we were not supposed to sell that maize, then it could have given us an ample time to say, even if there is any drought, this is what we can do. Because we still have a lot of maize at FRA. And even if we are in drought, the people can't be affected because we have enough maize in reserve.
So how are you going to keep the farmers that are being affected by this drought?
I'm coming to you. Secondly, we need to look at the irrigation system in the country. It has been neglected, the irrigation system. In events like this, if your irrigation system is well put up, farmers cannot be affected. That is why I'm telling you that for us in the citizens first, our priority in the agricultural sector is not only to be looking at maize, not only to be looking at soya, we'll be looking at various agricultural crops. And in doing so, we need to be making sure that maize is being grown not only in rain season, but even in other seasons of the year. Once you do so, you are going to give the people the market. If the irrigation system is well placed, when you construct the irrigation system which is in good condition, you don't need to depend on the rains because you have no control of certain things like the rains because the countries are being affected by global warming. Since countries are being affected by global warming, drought and so on, what you need to do is to begin improving the sector. So for us in the citizens first, we are going to make sure that the irrigation system is well invested in. Once we invest in the irrigation system, even if there are no rains, we are still going to be having maize as a crop or a major crop in the country, soya as another agricultural product which we can be able to have. And once we do so, no farmer is going to be affected. Other than that, let us look at fertilizer. When President Hakainde Hichilema was in opposition, he promised people that they are going to be buying a bag of fertilizer at 250 kwacha per 50 kg. That is his promise. Today, the people of Zambia are buying fertilizer more than 1,800 kwacha per bag. Per bag. Now, which farmer can even manage to buy such kind of fertilizer at that price? That is why, for us in the citizens first, again, we are telling you that instead of us to begin spending a lot of money to be purchasing or procuring fertilizer, no, to achita fertilizer okufuma kufialo, so ireisa, we are going to use that money and invest in our industry. So that we are able to produce our own fertilizer within the country. Because takwaba po fyechalo nangu chimu. Mwebantu mulalima amataba. You know that your major advantage in the country is to be farming crops like maize. Then tamwa kwata fertilizer. You have no plant which produces fertilizer. Nishmwapangwa shan. Takwaba ichalwe chili chonse. Where you know in Malawi they process tobacco because they have an advantage in producing tobacco. They process tobacco in Malawi. Muzambia munomotwaba. We produce maize oftenly, or maize is our major crop. Yet, tatwa kwata fertilizer. Fertilizer tuamkushita kufyalo. Nganga tamushtirewe finshtika chitika. Just like the same way we have drought. What will happen if the country, if other countries were not accessible for us to have fertilizer just for other reasons? Let's say there is all like the way we had the Russia-Ukraine war, the way other countries have been affected, like the closing down because of COVID-19. What are we going to do as a country? Tetimwe mpanga nda muleikala. Panga nda popo muleikala. Mlefu okudia katapa ne vendetta mwakwata. Ero nomba imwe nomba mwalatu washa ni katapa na baneba benuta bakwata. So we need to be making sure that in the country like Zambia, we produce our own fertilizer. Muno mchalo mnota mpanga po fertilizer muno. So once we come into government in 2026, what we are going to do is to set up a company which will be producing fertilizer. Ngatuapange yo company kalapanga fertilizer. We make sure that instead of ukula enda ngefiba president venu vendaimo, that money will be reserved. Once that money is reserved, you are going to invest in the irrigation system of the country, so that in case we have drought, not forgetting ukubyale thimuti, because once we plant more trees, we are going to have rains throughout the season. So that is the plan which we have in the agriculture sector.
Let's talk about the industrialization of this country. A lot has happened from 1991. Remember that we had also the privatization period that was between 1993 to somewhere 2002. I'll stand on 2002 because that was the time that Zambia's biggest mine, KCM, was actually sold to Vendetta after Anglo-American has left. But when you talk about industrialization in Citizen First, what is your policy?
Industrialization, I think, has been our major policy in Citizens First, because anything you can talk about in any country, you can't have a strong kwacha if you are not exporting anything. You can't. The only way you can gain forex is by making sure that we are able to export our own things. When you look at the growing population in the country, there is no way you can be able to absorb such kind of a population only in two sectors. Like you look at the bala ingirani ba nesi, bala ingirani ba teacher, ababa ingirife kuri bu police, na kwena kuri ba police na kwena kuri bala barekeresha feba. So when you look at industries, they are the ones which will absorb the unemployed people, because industries have all departments. They've got the department for engineers, they've got the department for general workers. Nangutawasa mbirira we muntu bafide bakwibukisha ko mchalo panti ni mchalo chove. Nomba muno mchalo mo mwaba imwe tabamibukisha bonze. So that is why when you look at our industrialization agenda, we want each province to have an industry which it will be known for. When we look at Lusaka, we can set up a company or an industry which will be producing clothes within here. When you look at countries, provinces like Southern Province, there we know that there are a lot of kettles. There is a lot of stock farming, livestock. We need to make sure that we set up companies which will be processing end products of such livestock. Like tuambo kupanga sausage mulamuine, amana matulechitari paki, mambo kupanga ba miss meat mulamuine, abantu baringira kwinjito. Ngamalolesha other provinces like Copper Belt. Copper Belt has been neglected. Mulamu Copper Belt mulabachula chula fika timu abana copper muli. Baremi bati yo Bill Gates nata discover copper. Aba fyo bale chitani fikanshi bale fa kuleta ba Anglo Americans muloko bati bambo running ama mines. It's not supposed to work like that. We need to be putting our people first. So our agenda in the industrialization process, we want each province to have at least 2 industries or even 1. Because when you look at industries like the way we had them, we had more than 290 companies which were privatized. We are just mentioning about 1992 to somewhere 2002. Those are the companies which were employed. Now, those are just companies, not people. 290 plus companies. It simply means if at minimum a certain company or industry was to employ people, it should have been about 20. Or let's say 10 per industry. How many people are they going to employ in such kind of an industry? If they are about 290, that would be 2,900 people, if each industry at its lowest term was to employ 10 people only. But you know that per industry, more than 80 people can be employed. Meaning all those people who are languishing in poverty in this country could have found employment somewhere in those industries. And once you look at that, you look at how Zambia was doing it, how we are doing fine. Lelonga mwaloleshe fya kufuala mlefuala. Mwalolesha mindset aine tufere pakulanda. Nga mwalolesha na bantu utfioloto bemisha abana bamasukuru pakuya kusukuru. Nevyo balefuala fyons. Tafile pangwa mzambi. Te mzambi afile pangwa. Nomba. Nishimwa pangwa shani mchalo. Ichalo na mmona tabantu balea balefula. Nchende ilia chepa na ena. Ero nombama industries tamukwete. How are you going to feed your people? How are the people going to be having food? Now, when you look at poverty, poverty is not lack of money. It's lack of opportunities to make money. People of Zambia have no opportunities to make money. People who say, no, I'm poor, I'm this, they are not poor. They're actually rich, but they have no opportunities given to them in the way they can make money. For us in the citizens first, we are going to be putting our people first so that we make sure that these opportunities are given to everyone. Because when you look at any person who is on the street, abantu abale chula pa street bonsa. But abantu tekwe bati bale chula yo nolangwati yo bala chula. Teku chula kudia. It's because taba kwa tafia opportunity kwa taba pera tipange ni mpia pa kupange mpia mfino mwa chitefi nefi. They have not been given opportunities because there are less avenues where people can work. Elo mwalikuwa time government, abantu ba government bale tukana ba mruwa pula ati bali kwate upina wa mumutwe. You have got the people, a political party which is in government, insulting the priests. Abantu abakudidesa ebo muletuka. Abantu abakudidesa ati no baraba bishop ni ba Lucifer, baraba father ni ba Lucifer. Mchalo cha Zambia, and you are going to stand there and begin proclaiming that we are a Christian nation. Elo nisha abantu abali mu government, abantu abe na baba obo political party mu government bareba bishop, bareba father, bareba reverend, bareba ama churches Yesu ati niba Lucifer. Chakana, we have not been in this situation before. That is why the people of Zambia know what they have been subjected to. You can't be calling a bishop, you can't be calling a pastor, even if you have another belief. Na mutamwache tekela mulilesa. At least respect other people's beliefs. Yachindike na ma beliefs yabo. Pantu takwawa inisha monapo. Mr. Godwin, if there is any person, I would rather give respect to a pastor than a president. Because inenangu na alifugirelelo umweo wandi wabakudidesa. Nangu wababe mbabalandati umweo wango kwa wabakwisa wa Godwin. Wabakudichibinda. So you have got the people who are good to praise their leader, who is in their leader is being praised. Bare mutasha the leader wabo, bare mutotera ma blessing aza. Then on the other hand, bare ita bishop at Lucifer. You are praising your leader. Yes, it's good maybe muleba tasha. Kudofo mona mu ifofo tatumona. Twa totera. But do not demean the church. In this country, you can't develop minus the church. Because for us, even in the citizens first, tuwakwata policy ya ma churches. Tukabomba na ma churches. Remember, the people who are living in Zambia, they have got a church they go to. Even you, Mr. Godwin, you have a church you go to. Meaning, a pastor talks to you often than the politician does. Udia pastor udia shapes the society. Once we come into government, some of our empowerment programs are going to be rolled out to the church. They are going to be rolled out to the church. So that the church, they know a person who is living well and a person who is not living well.
But don't you think that that's what has compromised the churches? Because those that have done church history, they will tell you that every time the government, begin to have a hand in the church, obviously the church is compromised.
How is the church compromised?
It's a topic of the other day. Obviously.
No. When you look at how the church being compromised, the church is mandated to pray for anyone. Be it you are in government, you are anywhere, the church is mandated to pray for anyone. Be it the government, not the government, the church is mandated to pray
But
for anyone.
do you know that we have church members or pastors that are affiliated to political parties?
Irrespective of them, now listen, it's a broad topic. When you look at
that's the reason why I said it's a topic
look,
of the other day,
look
because
how the church operates.
you are speaking as a politician, I'm speaking as a pastor now. Okay, so if we are to speak in
No. I can even speak as a pastor.
You are not a trained pastor, but I'm a trained pastor. So we are not going to have a honest conversation here. Okay? I'm a trained pastor. And when I say every time, when you go back to history, every time that the church begin to have an influence on the church church is compromised.
When you look at Jesus said, "Let any abana no bring the little ones to me." That's what Jesus said. The little one, he wasn't talking about the children necessarily. He was talking about bring the people who want my custody. So if the government want custody from the church, or the government want the church to pray for it, the church can't refuse, because they are not supposed to be selective that since moment about government, I want to be affiliated to you. Since moment about opposition,
the church is supposed to be non-partisan. But normally, when the government begin to have a hand, the church is compromised. Let's end there. Let's talk about what necessitated privatization.
Now, what necessitated privatization was lack of investment. Lack of investment from the government, because the government didn't have money. Now, when you look at what transpired in 2013-2014, there was a creation of IDC, Industrial Development Corporation. That is the one now which began the looking at the investment which is supposed to be there. So you had companies now which were not doing fine because they are being listed on the stock market. When you list a company on the stock market, you, Mr. Godwin, you can go there and buy shares. Once you buy shares, automatically you have invested in that company, and that company will begin operating properly. So the government, of course, the process of privatization, it didn't need transition or 100% or total transition from public to private. There was supposed to be a phase move. You look at companies, because remember, there are some companies which were operating in one commodity. Like there are maybe 4, 5. Let's say I've got 4 companies which are making clothes. As government, you are going to sit down and say it is inefficient for us to have 4 companies which are making clothes. Let's privatize 2. We remain with 2. Since you have privatized those 2, the money which you have used to privatize, you are going to channel it in those remaining 2. Then they will begin operating to full capacity. That's how privatization is done. You can't transition totally or 100% transition. You look at companies, you evaluate. If it means you have got 5 companies which are dealing in one commodity, like if you privatize 2, the money you get from there, you channel it back into the business. We call it you plow back the money into the business so that it begin operating to its full capacity. That's how it works. So what necessitated that was lack of plan. Lack of plan and lack of thinking about the future. Now, we are where we are now. Imagine if those companies were there. Let's say they are not operating to the fullest. The government didn't need to construct new ones. All they needed was to pump in resources. Once the resources are pumped in, they are going to be operating to full capacity. But at this event, if you are to begin industrialization in the country, you start from scratch, because there is no standing building which you can use. Since there is no any standing building which you can use, you are going to be forced to begin to start by building first, to begin constructing the buildings for the same industries. Then once you do so, that's when the operation is going to begin. So provided they are not operational, at least they could have privatized even half. What if you privatize and to the 100? But greedy, yabantu bo mwapero kita privatize imo. Eya lenga tufike po to delay. There is no way you can run a country. I've said this. You can't run a country which is not exporting anything to its efficiency. You can't. You look at other countries who have made it. Amafoni mushita mu Japan, amafoni mushita mu China, amafoni ambi mushita mu America, emo yafuma. That is why their currency is strong. Muno mchalo tamwa kwatani nsoni. Ifintu fyonse na nemisebo shonse wa mpangira ma foreigners. Imisebo wa mpangira ma foreigners. When you look at even the construction process which has been happening in the country, it's the foreigners who do them. Where are you as Zambians? Why have you been neglected? When you give a foreigner to say construct here, if a building is costing $2 million, that money will go to the foreigner, and that foreigner will send that money to their country. Meaning, in Mwamle Kongola, you go and borrow. After you borrow, you say, this money is going to be given to construct a hospital. What governments need to do is when you borrow and say this money is going to construct a hospital, you give the money to a Zambian. Once you give that money to a Zambian won't send that money to Malawi. A Zambian won't send that money to Congo. A Zambian will begin investing within the country. Once that Zambian invests in the country, there will be value in the money you borrowed. But imamula Congole mpia, ngamwa Congole mpia, after mwa Congola nomba, when you borrow money, what do you think will happen? Mwapela ba foreigners aba, mlepela no running ama campaigns yenu ababenaba. Once they get that money, if they are coming from America, if they are coming from India, bala mpia shida ku India upon the completion of construction. Where have you created that development? Automatically munobala mishirafe chi building chi minine, ukwabula nemiti. Then that money will now go to where? To India. But if a Zambian has the money, immediately baleshite fintu fya Zambia. In some ways, the money will go back to government because there will be collection of taxes. Balambo pokama taxes, pay as you earn, balapoka ko because umuntu limbyala isola company, balapoka ko value added tax because umuntu aleo defintu kuma company zefo alefo okushita, but there will be value for money. Nomba muno, you have got universities. Shashvano if bomba ma universities mwako ata muno mwine. Katushine if you bomba nga fikuru wafi nga ni finish. I don't know. Because the people you are producing as graduates are the people who are supposed to be undertaking the development. Nomba mwishishive from tontonga na pakwata ma university. After makwata ma university, neko mletu wala bantu takwa ishibi kwa whatever from ma streets mwino. Then you go mwakwata ba chitama mining courses muno mwaya kunomba mwamuksenda ba Vedanta mwamulefo kusenda ba Anglo Americans abalefo kisa next month kisa mukuraninga case yemu paria. Then olo mwaima yo Zambia the best universities unza ilipa top 10 but abapa unza tamba pera na chance ya kuraninga mining company aba tamba pera ama unza students abo mufiro kula pera bambo kuraninga ama industries pali bama engineers abakali sana pano nokubatina inenda batina balabene bala mwabagula mwabengisha ama industries yumu mwabengisha ama mining companies mulya. When you give the unza student money or a graduate from unza uliowa pa unza tawitaime ale amukshani ne mpia atana mukshani ne mpia ku Dubai na mukshani ne mpia ku Malawi bala ba muno mwine ngaba ba muno mwine balanda ta I think I've raised money. Let me begin a business. Ngabamba business because you have given them money. Baraba paunza baria. Bala ingisha kwa banabwe nchito. Ngaba ingisha banabwe nchito. Baraba nabo ngabalefo kuingira sama teachers ku government. Taba ingire because na basange nchito kududu wa paunza. Then the government can employ another set of people who can work as teachers, who can work as nurses. But in Shishiba, baechechi ngabali mu government mulefe batontonkanya. Shishiba ngabale mabale ya ku America fe batontonkanya. Shishiba ngabale ma ku Britain na ku Britain fe batontonkanya. Because those are the solutions you need to be giving to the Zambian people. But in chito yenu imwe kula imafi yo natukwata meeting pa state house abasungu na besa. Natukwata ma meeting pananikane aba pamulungusha abasungu na besa. Ni state baishira muno mwine mulatuita ife paunza parati muslot house muramwali mushwa muno muntu limbira.
So in your time international relations won't matter.
In our time international relations will matter, but we won't be giving our opportunities to the internationals. Tetumubule imwe ama companies aya mu Zambia eyo mwambo kupera ama foreigners, then you are calling that as international relations. Nombani shabantu benu finish barechita. International relations, be it bilateral or unilateral, they are very much important to any country. But it doesn't mean that in the name of international relations, mufira okubula abasungu, mufira mwabula bamwenye, ebasa mukulaninga ama campaigns mu Zambia. Ero nomba abantu benu muleba bika quiz. I don't know if you are going to call that international relations, because you're international relations. International relations means ngana muchita agree na ba Malawi and say ba Malawi o imwe ba Malawi mwe mwali kwa tobacco, ifo twali kwa tamataba. Akutupele niko tobacco, ifo twakula mpera kwa mataba. So ifo twakula shita tobacco kulimwe at least at a reduced cost or without tax on it. Na ifo twakula mishisha ubunga ukwabula tax. Mwala kwa America, mwabeba ati okay, mu Zambia we have got opportunities. Ama opportunities tukwete. Naya. The mining sector is okay. The agriculture sector is expanding. Therefore, mwise mtu wafwe ko ifwe. Nempia mwakwata. Tukure kwa ma companies. But it doesn't mean that international relations kwambo kubula ma foreigners at yo isen mwambench to. Kwambo kula kwa tama meeting na ma foreigners mwatane direct abantu benu. Te international relations.
Let's talk about the latest development. So 9 political parties, your political party inclusive, have come together to form the United Kwacha Alliance, UKA, a movement meant to challenge the UPND in 2026 and change the economic fortunes of the country. Last time when you came here, we talked about, this alliance, and finally, yesterday, the name was announced, and of course, we've been told that for now, it is going to be led by the chairperson, Mr. Sakwiba Scotta, and her vice, his vice, Madam Chishara Kateka. Now, you are in this alliance. Let's assume we are in 2026, and the person that has been appointed as the chairperson decides to contest as Citizen First. Are you going to be part of this alliance?
For two to work together, meaning they have agreed. So the agreement which will be made from the alliance, because the alliance we are going to sit, political party aikala na ilia, then you decide. Gamachita decide, oh mwasala ni we win. So if you say are you going to agree, provided that you folks agree, telling that three mumri alliance. If we didn't want to agree, we couldn't have been even part of that alliance. But see, since we have agreed that let's work together, because umutengo wa bunga na udula, umutengo wa salad na udula. If into Zambia tafide enda we no opportunities bare pera bana bo baka inde muchilema bare pera ma foreigners inchito. Ebo bare pera inchito balia. If you fiena na to agree.
But again, in every country there can only be one president. And when Honorable Hari Kalaba left PF, I'll start with Sata. When Sata left MMD and he was asked about some of the misfortunes, he said, I was not a president. So those misfortunes, you have to ask the president. It was the same with Honorable Hari Kalaba. Now, in an event that is not going to be selected to lead, then things begin to go wrong. Like, don't you think that there is some dishonest among you politicians? Because the reason for forming Citizen First was that he wants to be president, because he had little control because he was not the president. Now, if we are in 2026 and UKA, that is the United Kwacha Alliance, UKA in okay, so now if he's not going to be the president, how is he going to to run the vision?
Now, Mr. Godwin, I can't answer that question. Saying if he is not the president, how is he? No. If is a conditional word.
If
or if not. Now
this is an alliance of 9 political parties with 9 presidents, and among the 9 presidents, we have the former head of state.
Yes. Now look at how it is. When you are in the alliance, we have not yet selected the president of the alliance. Meaning, any person among those political parties has a chance. Even Madam Sabo Imboila can be the president. even Mr. Sakwiba Scotta, and other people were there, including President Lungu, including President Ali Kalaba, including Mr. Silavwe. All those people can be presidents. But if you are going to ask me that, okay, let's say if Madam Savoy won't agree, what are we going to do? Let's say if this one won't agree. I've told you that for two to work together, it simply means they agree. If there will be no agreements on those terms, then Tukekalapanch we are going to resolve. That's the answer I'll give you. For two to work together, it simply means they have agreed. So we have agreed at this moment that let's work together because the people are not living properly. So if that time comes, I think time is going to tell. Time is going to tell. But I'm confident that there has been agreement on how the alliance is going to run. So in the meantime, let's keep on with the information which is available. If the president who is going to be chosen, then you see the president who has been chosen, then call me and say, what is your direction that now this has happened? At least I'm going to have, because I can't be discussing things which we are yet to discuss. The only thing we discussed was let's form an alliance. When we form the alliance, we have 9 political parties, and any political party is free to join. It's not that we are limited to that number. If another political party wants to join, let that political party join. But for me to give you the information that if this one won't be the president, what are we going to do? So I can't give you that information because we are yet to sit and discuss that. However, for the things to run the way they are, it simply means there is an agreement on how things are going to run. But in the meantime, for me to give you the information that no, this is what we are going to do, then mukanjitenga filaba akainde tubeta tumwali bebera abantu ati fertilizer ka pa 230 abamwali bebera tubunga buka pa 50 kwacha 25 kg, then I come to you and say no, if the president won't be selected, this president won't be selected as president, what are you going to do? Because
obviously this is a honest question which will come to each and every president who has joined this alliance, because this is not the first time that we are having, alliances in Zambia. It has happened before. Even in 1964, there was an alliance for Zambia to gain independence. When they were moving just a single political parties, they were failing. But when an alliance was formed, Zambia got the independence. But there was an alliance which was formed in 2005, heading to 2006 elections. After the elections, it failed to work. We had another alliance in 2010, 2011. It collapsed before, even before the election. Let's accommodate our callers as well. The number is 0211 29 34 35. That's the line that you are calling us on. You come through and, of course, be part of the program. 0211 29 34 35. My guest this morning is Mr. Lazarous Simukoko, who is a Citizen First party member. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right. The number once more is 0211 29 34 35. Hello, good morning. Yes, Mr. Moses, you can go ahead with your comments, sir.
Good morning to our guest this morning. Indeed, my appeal to you politicians, Arun was asked you a very important question, especially when you are talking about empowerment going through the church. I think you shouldn't even go that route. The church should not be polluted. We are coming from a background where we saw a divide. There are certain churches in this country, pastors, when you even take that empowerment to them, the members won't even see it. So I think you should leave that. I know that you are soliciting for votes from the church, but not in that way. I think that find a better way of soliciting that vote. This is a problem that I have with you politicians. You want to promise everything, and in the end, when you are given that opportunity, look at our current leaders today who are in government, because everywhere there are the promises are struggling to fulfill. So certain things don't overpromise. You're working together as an alliance. This is what we want as citizens. We should always encourage each other. We know where to be working together. It's very, very important. This is the only way we are going to take development to another level. And you politicians, when you begin to unite for a better cause, not just to remove the UPND. You remove the UPND, so what? Then what is the agenda? You should tell us what the agenda is. It's very, very important. And the support of the former president in this alliance, I think for me, that is very, very, very much welcome, because it still has the support on the ground. But him becoming the president, well, I have my reservations over that. I would rather you have a neutral person, Kalawala, Charakateka, or even Masakua Scott, someone who has not been there, because we saw what we tested his leadership. And
as you conclude, sir,
there are certain areas where he failed us. I don't know, maybe now he can, but I think he let a neutral person take over the leadership of this alliance. We are listening. God bless you this morning.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Moses, for coming through. Let's pick this call. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yes, Mr. Elijah Ngwara, you can go ahead with your comments, sir.
Very much indeed. Lazarous Simukoko, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Elijah. How are you?
Mine is just a piece of advice. It's just a piece of advice to you, Mr. Simukoko, and to all the opposition political parties, but specifically to you this morning. This idea that everything, Barosland, Kaufera, everything which UPND government is doing, whether the New Dawn, I don't like this New Dawn thing, but government is doing is wrong. Only when you come in are you going to be the messiahs of this country. It's not good. You talk about the mines, oh, they are not doing that, they are supposed to do. You talk about the church, they are not doing this. I'm not a mathematician, but if I were a mathematician, I was going to say that 99% of what UPND has done is bad. 99% what you do yourself when you come in will be good. That's not a good way of things. You should compare and contrast as an intellectual. From what I can hear, I think you have been also to the university. You might be like Mr. Lungu and me, former students of the University of Zambia. So please, as somebody, as an intellectual, as Denver people put it, as an intellectual, to compare and contrast, and some of things you appreciate. Talking about investment, when you began the program, when the program started rolling, blaming HH, he did the investment. HH was not there. He was not the one. So in conclusion, I'm pleading, and Kalaba is Esquire, not just Kalaba, but Kalaba Esquire is a good friend. Go and ask him this. He would say, you know that blind man is going to tell you, yes, Kalaba, people like Kalaba, Esquire, Kampiongo, Esquire, these are friends. This idea of everything is not good. And lastly, is this idea of you hating HH as you do it. You people are the same people who are saying that God is the one who gives leaders. And God, in province now, we people from Eastern Province and Avemba,
as you conclude, sir.
In conclusion, then you hate animosity, acrimony, abhorrency, antipathy, etc. No. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Elijah Ngware, for coming through. Let's pick this call. Good morning.
Good morning, Godwin.
Yes, Pastor Mtale. How are you?
I'm fine. In studio.
Mkwaiba Pastor Besubadishani.
Mkwai. Pusha yomkwete kuli muyabutira ati iyo president wenu wachitrezani mu PF. Wachitrezani a lot of things. Corruption. Edgar Lungu, Arita now, Mr. Corrupt abantu. That's why he left the PF. So I don't know how things have changed. Edgar Lungu, Abamumba Malaika, which were Bombere Pam. That's why you politicians, even Zambians, we are not down. You are there in the studio, you don't have vision for this Zambia. Then you are telling us that, no, let us vote out, UPND. You don't have, a vision. Tamuko the vision ya kupewa. Inishaka potrepo umuntu or any politician. Wala sasa no because ungana kutura. No. Vunga is not about vunga work. How are we going to run this economy? How are we going to pay back the PF assembly? So therefore give us a clear cut. Rather than just minimum. In a me I don't vote just because of minimum. No, Tell us what are you going to do. And in your alliance, you are all cowards. I don't see anyone who can stand. We know everything what you are doing. We know. So don't waste your time there in the studio telling us that, because of Vunga, that's what I can happen. Thank you very much for coming and listening.
All right, thank you very much. 0211 29 34 35. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hello? Tulezo sana wale usikuna.
Yes, balewe sirandeni tumfwe.
Emkwai, tulezo sakuna Simukoko. Mwakata baba.
Baba mwakata uli namwe.
Tete.
Tasadifya.
Kuisa pekuilia shipako watu wonsunga tuachibanda vecha kunyezo wadi wa godwini we umfu wako. Lomba tualafika fipa ope. Lomba kuna landa fisako wati. Simukoko, I think, in fact, that we pay na leakage. Ebo tualanda fisako wati. Narapita kwa mwako wati wachi fifi achilanda kuwa pasta wafu. Imwena mulanga kaluku wati ifi palifeche fitatukwete confidence. Kukana kwata confidence. That's why mwabungana. Ama leaders yenu yose takwete confidence. Na abaipima bamona scale weki bakwete politically compare na kuli ba HH bali ukutalisana. So inako nachira kwa bati imwenga mwali kolongana ifine mkolongene ukusupporta waka indeche. Bantu nchito bakwete mwana ni nkongole shashire ba PF. Tulina mafia muno mcharo nkongole nashi tubika pressure. So ile waka indeche mawale bisana makoko bati babombe ifintu at least mnamuna regardless of who kwate nkongole bale ngisha kona mayusinchi regardless of who kwate kwa nkongole wa president bali busy zo ona at least ifintu femu likati wa president bale bumba bale sita naba na ma desk so nomba imwe aziba Simukoko tina kwa mwaye kwa abale nu bonzo kwa tentu ba fe honest hapa common go uchushi mcharo muno ile president ale preaching apali unity president Alelanda no corruption. President arrest lava na ma desk. President alengisha abantu amachito amayuzi. Bwe waku supporter. Tie ni turuishe chintu chimo. Divided we fall. Ivi kwa bati mukeze po moroba bengi abama awawe na mo political leaders abengi awawe na bo kulunga. They are broke. So no mbale kwa fendala bakese tutire ndala mo pocket. No. Atotera.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis. Let's pick this other call. Good morning.
Morning, good. How are you, my brother?
Yes, Brother Chisha. You can go ahead with your comments, sir.
Thank you very much. Baba Maukaudi.
Baba Maukaudi namwe.
First and foremost, we should all agree that there is power in unity. For the opposition party to agree to work as a team, Simukoko, it's a way forward. If you remember very well what happened in 2021, UPND had to form an alliance. Today, for them to be in power, it's because of alliance. I don't think it's right for anyone to condemn for other political parties to come together when previously they did the same. So, the issue of who is going to be the president of the alliance, it doesn't matter. Because for people to work together like you said, Mr. Simukoko, that simply means they have agreed. The Bible is very clear. It says two people can't work together unless they agree. And looking at the way things are in Zambia, people are already discouraged by this government. You cannot start buying minimum at 350 in Zambia. Fertilizer which we were promised at 250 is nowhere to be seen. The Congolese people talk about, UPN have not yet paid any money where PF borrowed. So, they are using tactics. According to them, this is the government of Simukoko. So my message to the alliance, please keep on fighting. And the Zambians are behind you, to be honest with you. People are complaining, go and take a survey. Go into compounds and then just shout to say, forward. You hear what people are going to answer. They are going to insult you. You are not going to be lucky. They can even beat you. The reason is very simple. People have suffered a lot under UPND government. And the only secret which is here is to change government to come 2026. But Simukoko, you have our support. Tell your leaders to be more united, if possible. Invite even those who are not yet joined, like Alliance, Mr. Member's Party, and Short Tembo, and others, so that we can come up with a strong team. It's not a matter of being afraid of the UPND. It's just get united because there is power in unity.
All right, thank you very much. Let's pick maybe the other two calls, then I allow my guest to respond. Good morning.
Good day.
Yes, Brother Namanda.
How are you, my lovely brother?
I'm very much fine. How are you?
Very fine.
You can go ahead with your comments, sir.
Simukoko mwachibuki.
Mukwaiba brother Namanda barishani.
Kufa butuli sebu ino.
Twatotera.
Simukoko mwirachito muntu nga mwamufalande ekintu ekyo tamukwete proof namwocho mwasenda. For any agenda yenu n'amapolicies y'omwinge bamena Zambia ukuthi bakamipotere. Godwin, uyo mugaizi ali mu studio namuvesa akamba kuti imwe mulima milisi but mulibe company yamene ipanga fertilizer. Are you sure, Godwin? So when UPND came into power, agency brought in capital fertilizer company. Suna Invere, Godwin. So that guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's not in Zambia. He's lost. He just heard from someone. We have brought in two companies. They are manufacturing fertilizer here in our country. Fertilizer was 1,100 urea. G compound we are buying at 950. Me, I'm a farmer. I'm in Kampumba. I'm speaking. Capital fertilizer companies producing urea at 650. G compound at 550. From 1,000. Look at the difference. 100%. You don't research. This alliance, which you remember Godwin, P.A.D. Garungu had 14, more than 17 political parties came together during 2021. 17, if not 18. Manje, we hammered them, we butchered them. Manje, very 8. 4 from 18 minus 8, 10. That's a sham. That group of individuals, they are not even political parties. How many members does Takuba Scott have? Those are just greedy and petty individuals. Those
as you conclude, sir.
Individuals. So as I conclude, that alliance, my brother, if you are in that alliance, that is a sham. That it is not going anywhere. You have no solution for this country. Only pettiness and greediness and bitterness. Period.
All right, thank you very much. The number was 0211293435. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, sir. How are you, Brother Philemon?
I'm very fine. How are you, Mr. Moderator?
Very fine. You can go ahead with your comments, sir.
Thank you. Allow me to greet you, Lewis, well spoken. Because mukazituma Lewis, tifuna manambers ya kule, wotuma, na wanamanda. Indeed, I agree. This alliance, there is this adage in Bemba, kanoinga evo. If you can recall, as Mr. Naman put it, an alliance of UPNs was ridiculed like no man's business, and went to the extent of forcing other radio stations, media stations to say, I'm a radio station to my radio station to my TV to using Simunga Wini, watching, and these are the TV stations, these are the radio stations now today they are using. Have you seen hypocrisy? So I'm urging you, this organization, the consortium of frustrated individuals that, a politician cannot run away from promises. You have to promise people. That's why Mr. Barry told you to say, by then, when Girona was at 80 quarter, he told you that there was a possibility that a bag of milling can still be reduced at 50 quarter. Because by then, a bag of milling was costing in the range of 100 quarter, 120. Do you think that when milling is costing in that range, can you try to reduce a bag of milling at 50 quarter? It was possible then. Even if fuel, it's 12 quarter, by then it was at 8 quarter per barrel.
This time, more than 100, but you think this time, with this exchange rate that is misbehaving, you can buy fuel at such amount? Nothing. You know. So as a politician, whether you like it or not, you have to promise people that things that you are going to do when you assume power. And in fact, these promises that we promise, we have how much more.
As you conclude, sir.
Hello?
As you conclude.
Conclusion. You know, we have how much, a lot of them. So what is needed, what has remained only, a bag of milk, wasila, bag of milk, may God bless you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Prince Moment is saying, nice program, but why come with such items? Saladi, naunga. That is the only mistake of Zambian politicians. Even when the price of meal it was per 45, others was not able to afford it. Junior Shaba Mwemba is saying, don't take advantage of us Zambians. Currently, there is no rain, yet you are moving with Pamela as if you are going sort anything. Just keep quiet, sir. You can't manage the situation. So the guest that I have here has got a Pamela and a salad. So those that are commenting on the live video because they are able to see him. Mr. Simukoko, your response.
Now, this Pamela is the same Pamela which HH was moving with when the bag of meal was at 120. Then he said, Bantu swanga zgula Pamela ka niko dula. The same HH was moving na kasala jaka. At kasala jaka kadula ni 1 kwacha. Ma isetibauza akakaunga kenzeti pa 5 kwacha, pa manje kalipa 10 kwacha kakena ngira ngati mupima. Akakasala jikenze pa 1 kwacha, manje kalipa 2 kwacha. So bakambatia hii, why moving with such items? Akainde chile manjenzo inda navo kai. Inanga ndine, ndani mumufunze ku State House. Then kubwera kuri balast wenzo kamba. At HH promised Milimiu to be at 50 kwacha because Milimiu then was at 120. Jepe bana upeza bakwezeka. Then wake, so since of the wenzo kamba wapa last year. At HH found Milimiu at 120 kwacha. So it was okay then to promise that there is a possibility ungabwele pa 50. But manja pa mtengo wakwela. Nanga bakwezeka mtengo ni bandani. Then wa HH bamena. Tiba kwezeka. Mane se chite bwanji nga tiba kwezeka. Tiba uza tu unga wadula. Then coming to Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis said we have no confidence in ourselves because we can't defeat HH and it's just because of greed that we are here. It is only HH who is greedy. HH is greedy. Let us not run away from the fact. If he wasn't greedy, he could have reduced the prices of commodities.
How?
Who is greedy between muntu ali mu opposition na muntu ali mu government akwezeka vintu? Ni utari greed. Nanga, do we have the power to control the economy se bali mu opposition?
But you are studying economics,
yes.
And obviously you know for sure that Zambia is a free economy.
Yes.
Zambia
Nipase ni drama bagodi nishite invest economy bwerere nizatenga. Nipase ni drama nishite invest. Kulipe kwa tosa drama kaili. Mani economy viliche mu muntu vinankala. Viliche mu muntu vinankala. Ambele ni mpia
So Zambia is operating under free market.
Yes. Free market, meaning you are free to do anything as long as it's in the frameworks of the law. But look, how a Zambian can invest is when the Zambian has money. Nipase ni drama. Ba HH ndanu bauza timu.
So maona kuti mambozi shusha.
Kushusha
mwangambati bamene babwero chita invest in ma foreigners. Apa futi mwambo mpempa ile ndarama kuti chita invest.
Ma foreigners
so
babwero chita invest because HH abavomeresa ati bamu chita invest and you can't refuse them.
But bamene mwamkambati mulipe ndarama chita invest. So can you run the country without investment?
Now understand this. Tilipe drama because there are no opportunities. The government has not created opportunities for you to make money. For you to make money. In order for you to invest, you need to make money.
What opportunities do you want?
Opportunities to make sure that Zambians are able to work in every sector and no person should be complaining about unemployment. That's how it should be. Now, okay, Mr. Godwin. Kuri muntu yaenda mu street leo. Winango yaenda, wenango banyimvera papeni kamba. Bauze nati sakira 100 kwacha. Azanyuza nilibeko chosa. So, by making sure that you are able to invest, muntu afunika ngaloko aenda aziba ngati nifuna 100 kwacha nifuniko enda kwaso na kwaso, then I will make 100 kwacha. Then you know that we are investing in the economy. ine pano penilililo kondimwe muzanya mukati okay for me to make a 1000 I need to do ABCD, then I will make a 1000. But there are no such opportunities of ABCD, you make 100 squatter. There are no those opportunities of ABCD, you make 1000. So telling a Zambian to invest when the Zambian has no money, when you are giving mining contracts to the foreigners, when you are empowering foreigners more than you are empowering the people, it can't work. Ama roads, all the constructions that have been happening. Letani project timipase ba Godwin tufuna Mange road dimu kutoka Lusaka kwenda kundola. Hii road ya mzapanga ni $2 million US. Ndrama zilipo, here is the down payment. Mipasa $1 million US for the start. Imwa mzapanga ija mukapanga profit yanu ija, you are going to have money and you can invest. So imwa bemkamba tiyo ni free economy. Free economy mulipe ndrama free economy. Nivapa paper hivyo. Hivyo nivapa paper. Mungamulete wamene ujaloko bena fayo wamene bajabe muziba bena kao maxi bena ndani kulipe bebanga chite because in drama kuli beche chakira paka mboka drama. What is happening to the monetary engine policy rate? Banachita increase. He found it at 8.5. Now it's moving at 11.5. Let's follow the statistics. It simply means those guys who got the loans, their tenure has been increased or their payment per month has been increased. Meaning that means if you repeat a loan in 2 years, 4 years, that will be a cost. What are you supposed to do? Reduce the lending policy rate so that people can go to banks and borrow, invest in businesses, and make sure that there is a lot of money in circulation. The issues to do with inflation comes in when there are no goods, not enough goods, but there is a lot of money. Hence, there is no supportive system to the currency. But if you have goods and there is money available, you can still manage to invest in the country and inflation can be reduced. Tikabauza wadandaula batia tripe confidence. That's why pastor wakamba let's not involve the church in politics. The church has been there in the development of the nation. Bakatholic wana maskuru yao. The church sponsors people ku school babapeleka na ku university simu abatasha, then mukambati no president akainde is uniting the country when his people are calling pastors Lucifers. When the people are calling the people of Luapula balebeta bakulapula balati balikwate obupina bwa mumutwe, are you going to say that is uniting the nation? Elofenga twalanda tiyo mwali ba tribe mwali tapali pona tribalism apa. We are just stating the things as they should be. So your
concluding remarks.
My concluding remarks are that for us in the citizens first, we have solutions. I've told you about the industries, how it is supposed to be done. I've told you about the agriculture sector, the mining sector, how it is supposed to be operating. Unfortunately, this government hasn't paid attention to that. And for us in the citizens first, and President Charlie Kalaba, we are telling you that the only way Zambia can be liberated is by making sure that we have got industries which are going to absorb people so that they begin working. Once they work, ngabakwata femo ba Godwin na mlefu 100 kwacha, mlefu MPA shingi sana. You know that for me to make this money, mfulena HTF I need to go there, parika industry na bombako, na hapa na ikata kwa hapa na hapa, I'm going to have money. Padi no ishtom Zambiani, alela dila femo rusero wakwale, sanota tena kwa tempi, otherwise impi atakwete. So, all I can say is that for us in the citizens first, and President Charlie Kalaba, we have got solutions on how we are going to run the country, on how we are going to strategically deal with every sector of the nation so that they begin improving, because there is no any sector in the country at this moment which is operating well. Look at any ministry, concern maferias yeariko. For us, when we come, we want to make sure that there is success in every sector. Mankwala mufpatala mulibeum. My teachers to run the school, baba pasama 1,800 petem mwomo walipiremo security guard, walipiremo makilinazi, muri 180 bagulemo na malaiti, bagulemo machoko, muri 180 ngakwa ni 1 month. The education sector and the education system has been deteriorated in this country. That is why we want to come in and make sure that things begin running smoothly. Sumungas pasa 180 maskuri, mama pasa 180 munari is a sense of chance.
So now you are lying now. Who told you that they are giving?
I'm not lying. How much are they giving them?
It depends. With they look at the number of pupils that they have, because listen, it's a free education. The government is paying for every pupil. So if every pupil is paying 800 kwacha, you calculate 800 kwacha plus 300 pupils that you have. That's the money that you receive. So
no. That is another. Unless you tell me that you give me another time to explain this. You give me time to explain.
We don't have time.
You don't have time. Meaning, don't say I am lying because I can explain to you what is happening. But if you can give me time to explain, I will explain
but
to
what
you.
You are explaining at the end, you are lying. Because
no, I'm not. Give me time to explain if you have time. You're going to say we have no time.
I don't have time.
When you tell me that you are lying, I need to defend myself. But you can't say you are lying. Let's end the program. Then I'm doing nothing.
We can move from here to any school and ask if
let's go.
they are receiving,
let's
1/8.
Let's go and ask the people who are in charge of running schools if that is okay. We can even carry the camera from Unza. We can carry anyone, but I know there will be government interference because immediately muntu akabauza atuati pasa mawanu etisi pasa wapisha. That's what this government does. So
your Yama 180 Nyawe. Thank you very much for coming through, Mr. Simukoko. We have to go. We are running out of time. Until next time when we bounce back, shalom, shalom. God will my names. My guest was Mr. Lazarous Simukoko, who is a Citizen First party member and now in alliance with UKA. That's the United Alliance. United Kwacha Alliance, as it is called. Until then, bye-bye. Anakango defend wani mwativarira.
Sweep over my soul. I hear a voice is calling from somewhere out there. A voice is singing somewhere in my ear. And I know that I must rise and fill my heart and pray and sing for Jah Almighty. I say sweep over my soul. Oh, sweep over my soul. The road may rough and tough and go and get so hard. Just sweep over my soul. Yeah, get to me, get to me. And I shall live for my voice to the only one of creation. And I shall sing songs of redemption, songs of praise unto him. Acclaiming my position in creation and the Son of the Almighty Jah. Beholding his glory, manifesting through I and I forever. Oh Lord.